So thank you for coming back to my channel, The Retail Guru. And this time I thought let's do something controversial. Let's talk about which is the best mall in Dubai. And we know which are the two best malls in Dubai. The first one, Dubai Mall, the second one, MOE, or the first one, MOE, and the second one, Dubai Mall. So that is what we are actually here to talk about. Before we get into which mall is better and why, and how do they rate against certain criteria, what we have to understand is that both of these companies, Dubai Mall belonging to Emirates, set up by Mohammed Al Abar, a visionary definitely. What he has done in a single generation takes sometimes countries years to do. With him, with the Dubai Mall, with Emirates becoming one of the largest construction houses in the world, and most importantly the Burj Khalifa, which is a legacy and will stay with him forever. On the other hand, we have Majid Al Futtaim, who's also been very instrumental in developing the malls all over the GCC with the city center property. And they've done a fantastic job in bringing retail to everyone's doorstep. So these are two very charismatic, visionary gentlemen. Mohammed Al Abar being very in your face, and why not? And Majid Al Futtaim on the other hand is a recluse, and you don't hear much about him, but you experience it through his malls, through his hospitality. So with that said, let's get into the details of which mall is the better mall and why. Let's talk about the first criteria, and that's what everyone is obsessed with. Men, women are obsessed with size. So let us talk about size. But this is not the size you're thinking about, it's the size of the mall that we are talking about. So when it comes to Dubai Mall is the second largest mall in the world, with a GLA of about 3.77 million, catering to about 80 million tourists in a year, which is more than any of these big cities like New York, Paris, Milan, and also having retail stores of about 1200 plus formats. Mall of the Emirates, on the other hand, is about 2.4 million GLA, has about 700 to 800 retailers, and caters to approximately 40 million tourists, or rather the population. So when it comes to size, it's a hands down, Dubai Mall wins the first round based on size and scale. So the second point we want to talk about is attractions. Everyone goes to malls for attractions. And let's face it, Dubai Mall is one of the most Instagram happy malls. I would say that for the very reason that it's got the world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa. It's got the Dubai Fountain based on the Bellagio, one of the largest in the world. It's got the Dubai Aquarium, it's got the ice rink. So when you look at the entire bouquet of attractions that Dubai Mall has, it seems very formidable. Mall of the Emirates is not very far behind here. Mall of the Emirates has a ski slope, which is very unique to, you're living in the middle of the desert and you can actually go and ski in the mall. There's snow, so this is something that is pretty unique, and they were the first to do it in the region, and of course a major attraction for Mall of the Emirates. Second attraction that I put in for Mall of the Emirates is actually Carrefour. Some of you might actually laugh thinking what the hell he's talking about, Carrefour's no attraction. But if you look at Carrefour of Mall of the Emirates, look at its positioning, look at its size, look at the amount of customers it actually draws in the wealthy Barsha area. That's one of the major draws to getting in foot traffic. So when it comes to attractions, again, Dubai Mall wins hands down. So right now the score stands at 2 for Dubai Mall, 0 for Mall of the Emirates. When it comes to Dubai, people identify Dubai with luxury. It's all about the glitz, the glamour, the brands. And Mall of the Emirates, which came up in around late 2005, was able to create a luxury environment within their mix. They tried to compete with Burjuman, which at that time had the highest density of luxury brands under one roof. But then 2008 struck, Dubai Mall opened, and they opened with some of the brand houses having a size of boutiques far bigger than anyone had ever seen. The length and depth of the assortment of these luxury brands were unparalleled, as a result of which Dubai Mall, if you're looking at pure luxury shopping, you cannot compete with any other mall. Dubai Mall stands at the pinnacle when it comes to luxury, And although Mall of the Emirates has got some representation of luxury with Harvey Nichols and they have a luxury court, there is no comparison to Dubai Mall's luxury area, the Drum as it was previously called, and now they've opened even a new luxury boulevard. So when it comes to point number 3, if you're talking about luxury shopping, then luxury shopping is definitely synonymous with Dubai Mall, and that brings us to Dubai Mall 3, Mall of the Emirates, sadly 0. So let's move on to point number 4, and point number 4 is about customer profile. If you look at Dubai Mall is predominantly a tourist-driven mall. Yes, residents do come to shop, but it is really heavily influenced by tourism. And one of the major reflections of that is the pandemic and why the sales are now really bad. It's because tourism is very severely hit. So the neighborhood malls are actually on the rise when it comes to the resident population purchasing. And if you look at Dubai Mall is heavily skewed towards tourists. While it is a strength, it is also a liability. If you look at Mall of the Emirates on the other hand, Mall of the Emirates has got an even balance and an even mix between tourists and the resident population. So right now I would say that Mall of the Emirates definitely is in a better shape than Dubai Mall for the very reason that it is located in the Belti Barsha area and they have a good resident loyal consumer base to actually go out and buy from them. So sorry Dubai Mall, this round when it comes to customer profile and loyalty goes to Mall of the Emirates. So we are currently at 3 for Dubai Mall, 1 for Mall of the Emirates. So let's move on to point number 5, which is innovation and expansion. I think when you look at this particular segment, you see Dubai Mall, they were very successful with what they built. And I think somewhere down the line, greed has come into play. If you look at the Zabil extension, which was actually envisaged to be a parking, and then they thought, oh, why should that be parking? Let's make it retail space. And while it was a good idea, but I think Dubai is definitely over-retailed. When you have a mall that's about 3.77 million square feet, you don't need to add any more GLA to it because I don't know what you're going to put in it unless you're going to duplicate some brands. So if you walk into the Zabil extension, it is a poor representation of what Dubai Mall is, their potential and what they can do. And I don't think they have really thought very much about that expansion part. When you look at Mall of the Emirates, it's a very small, packed mall. But when you look at their expansion, when it comes to strategic expansion of the way they enhance the luxury area, they had a 1 billion expansion planned in 2015 where they opened up a whole new segment of brands, new luxury court. I think they were very strategic in the way they did it. If you look at even during coronavirus, the way they innovated, they had the sky parking which was converted into an open drive-in cinema. So when I look at Mall of the Emirates, or rather City Centre Group, I think Majid Al Futtaim takes execution of malls to the next level. They are definitely the best operators of malls in the world and definitely the most innovative. I think they were the first ones to launch electric car charging stations. They were the first one to launch kiosks where you could actually key in your number and locate where your car was in the parking. So they have done a lot of firsts, and I think that that is their strength. So all the Dubai Mall fans, I think you need to start sweating now because this round has gone to Mall of the Emirates and we are currently, the score is 3-2. So let's go to point number 6, and I've taken point number 6 as shoppability. If you visited Dubai Mall, it's really huge, and people in the reaching close to the middle ages are going to have a challenge walking that mall. The brand adjacencies are a bit challenging, so you need to go to different sections of the mall to shop. You really need a good set of legs to do that. On the other hand, if you go to Mall of Emirates, it is more compact, it's more boutique-ish, and you can traverse the mall within a very easy pace and you won't really feel exhausted at the end of the day. So, I mean, if you are looking to spend the day out, maybe you want to go to Dubai Mall because they have various attractions. If you're looking for a quick shop and you have time constraints, I think Mall of Emirates is a very good choice. But when I look at overall shoppability in terms of getting what you require, I definitely feel that in this case, bigger is not necessarily better, and 0.6 shoppability goes to Mall of the Emirates. And let's move on to 0.7. Oops, there is no 0.7. We've rated the malls on the 6 criteria that I think makes sense if you want to look at overall ratings. And to be honest, it's a tie. I don't see any clear winner here. I think Mall of Emirates and Dubai Mall, each one hold their own when it comes to retailing. Each one has their own loyal customer base. They've done a great job in bringing the communities of Dubai closer. You have your Dubai Mall loyalist, you've got your Mall of the Emirates loyalist, and I think both of them take center stage here. It is no winner. I think both of them are the best malls in the UAE, hands down, and they've done amazing work in the retail space. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to share your comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.